Hello everybody and welcome back. This is going to be episode 3 of Duramos Park. There's actually supposed to be an episode between this one and the last episode, and you can see off in the distance I made that giant hole and I made a couple of tweaks to the thing, but it was really boring because all I did was, you see all those planks down there? It just took a long time putting those in, so I decided to just scrap that episode and just go straight to this one, because this one's actually a little bit more interesting. So first off, what I did was, well, I haven't actually introduced it because last episode I didn't talk about this. It's going to be the new area of the park. This is going to be a pirate-themed area. It's going to have like kind of a port side feel, and it's basically just going to be in this little lower section. Off to the left where there isn't any pathways, that is where the roller coaster is going to be, which might be next episode, might be 2 episodes from now, I'm not quite sure. But again, I wanted this to be like a port side feel, so what I did was I added all these planks to it, and then the actual roller coaster will be over the water, so then you'll be able to like look out at the roller coaster from this. That's kind of the general idea for this area, but it was just an 11-minute video of me commentating over me placing wooden planks. Spoiler alert, wasn't that interesting, so I scrapped it. And there wasn't much change other than the massive hole. But starting off, another thing I did last episode was I started doing these little planks in between the actual seams of the path, or the planks to the sides of them, just because it looks a little bit better. It makes it look a little clean. And I like it. So this originally I tried to do copy and pasting for the rest of this is what I did last episode. Or not last episode, the episode I scrapped, the mid episode, episode 2.5. I tried copy and pasting, and this time I just did it manually, and it was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. I thought doing it manually would take a couple of, probably a couple dozen minutes, but it just took like maybe 4 or 5 minutes. It's actually really easy. So yeah. Basically, if you see this square right now, that's where there's going to be a shopping center. As I said, on the left there's going to be a like a little lake type thing with a roller coaster over it. There's also going to be a water ride in the back, but I've literally haven't even thought about that water ride yet. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do. And then I tried to have this series. So you'll see, there's a technique I heard, and you can you do kind of some of these flattened foundations, and then you just do a bunch of smoothing. And it looks okay. I'm gonna need to fix this theming later, but I just wanted it to be decent for when I actually went over to it. And then I had some problems with the staffing, so I went ahead and raised everyone's wages, because I don't really care about the wages. I just want you to, like, if you're walking through the park, you'd be oh, like, this is a normal theme park. So if I have everyone's getting $1 million an hour, I don't really care. I really, maybe later on I'll change it, but for now I really just want it to look good. And then I wanted to make the path flush. Well, I wanted to come down, but the problem originally is you can't actually bring the terrain up near the path. There's like an ugly hole down there. So what I had to do is I had to fill in the gap between the terrain and the actual path itself, and I used rocks. I think this looks good. It looks better actually later on, obviously, because I work on it. But yeah, this took a little bit of time. I just used some of these smaller rocks to fill in the smaller holes. Yep. Yeah, I mean, putting in rocks is not that interesting. I gotta be honest. And then I wanted there to be some sort of thing you see when you enter. And so I searched up pirate on the scenery tools, and I was thinking, maybe I use a pre-made one, and I saw this, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna base my thing kind of off of that, with all that scaffolding and bits and bobs floating around. And it's still not finished. I need to add a couple things, like some rope, some more lights to it. So I'll get around to that, but what I want to start with a little foundation. And this, I actually think this was a good idea, because it allowed me to kind of have a 4x4 type thing to start with, which it is usually a lot easier to make something creative when you have like some constraints, right? If someone just says write a story, right? It's like, okay, well that's kind of difficult. Well, if you say write a story about, a sad dragon, okay, well then you have something to start off of. So since I had this 4x4 grid that I kind of worked on, I knew I could kind of build off of it. And I want it to be kind of an arch over. I don't want it to just be two separate sides, because I want there to kind of be like a grand reveal. Like you walk through and you can't really see over it, and then you step through the gates, and then boom, you see the pirate themed area, because you technically are looking over it, right? Because it's sunken down, no pun intended. And yeah, this actually took quite a while, and I did spend a lot of time on it. I was doing like cross bracings and stuff. Spoiler alert, I'm not a structural engineer. I've never taken a structural engineering class, but it looks like that could work. And so I did that, and I tried to do I basically wanted to add a bunch of scaffolding, and these are a bunch of pirates who made this thing. I'm not quite sure what it is, but pirates aren't the smartest people. I doubt there's many structural engineering pirates as well, right? I don't think tend to not go to university last time I checked. So yeah, so I wanted to make it kind of ragtag, but also like it works, right? I wanted to make it seem like, okay, well this is barely standing. And I think I get that vibe pretty well. It's not perfectly symmetrical. There's a lot of loose stuff going around. There's some useless pieces, and then there's some pieces that probably need more support. And I think that really just kind of gets the vibe quite well, and so I'm pretty proud of that. So what was really weird is I used these columns. And when you went farther away, it'd be more like a cone shape. And when you came closer, you can see the ones in the background kind of get thin and then they get wide again. But the ones in the foreground, they just stay wide. And I literally had no clue what that was. It might have been a rendering issue or something. But I never did that with any other piece. Or at least I never noticed it made a substantial difference. But every time I was building, it was so confusing. Well, when it first happened, I thought it was like, that's just how they looked. But then when I got, closer, it actually changed. And again, I would kind of want to add that big arch you saw, because I didn't really want to do like full made pieces. I really wanted to make it more personal. I mean, I do add personal. That's not really the right word. I don't know really what the word is, but I wanted to make it like I did most things. I did cheat with this thing, this little camp, because that's actually a lot of stuff that I didn't want to mess with. And then you see how it's kind of underground, so then I flattened it around it. And I took a while trying to fix this, because it wasn't working, and I'm very bad at using this tool. And the sleeping bag's in the bloody rock. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, whatever. But then I add this little pirate, just kind of vibing. Gotta make sure so it has a little box over it, which we'll see for later why that's important. But you have to kind of hide the box, because obviously then you know it was an animatronic. I mean, it's not like it's obviously not like they pay a guy to sit there 24/7, but Then I had this little netting thing. Actually, these things look really good, and I like these. And another thing, if you see those like really, really tall thing that I just didn't add, I don't want you to be able to see like this from farther away, like this entrance. I want this to be kind of you walk upon it and then it's there. That's a really stupid way of saying that. How would you say that? It's not really in your face, right? It's kind of like ragtag. I mean, there's illegal stuff going on in the pirate area. Obviously, they're pirates, so you kind of don't want to bring attention to it. And then there's actually, so what's very interesting with the pirate pieces, there's red coat pieces, which is the British Army, and there's pirate pieces. So I might do, when I do the water ride, have it kind of be like Pirates of the, like, basically the entire thing is kind of like the first thing from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, or the first thing after the drop, I should say, where there's the ship and they're fighting. And I don't know where I'm going to add the water ride. I don't know if it's going to be indoors, outdoors, if it's going to be a log flume, if it's going to be like a normal, like, Pirates of the Caribbean. We'll see. But, I've never actually made a themed log ride in this game. I've made themed coasters. I've made coasters that have a lot of, scenery around them. It's not necessarily a theme. I had this cross bracing, and I know if when I add things, guests will just walk through it, but it does look really good, so I wanted to keep it. I readjust these little lamps. They're actually lamps. I don't know if you realize that. They're lamps, and they're pretty cool. Then I have this bell. I don't really want to put it anywhere, so then I kind of put it back here. And this is probably one of my favorite pieces of theming. It seems pretty pointless, but it's just kind of like just a, I mean, it's just a bell just lying there. It's just kind of funny. Like, well, how'd they get the bell there? Like, what, did they just like raid a town and then just like lay a bell down? I don't know. I just think it's pretty funny. But then I wanted to add a. No, that's not what I do now. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I wanted to add a guy who is like manning the cannon. Well, first I just want to add someone, but yeah, then I want to add a guy manning the cannon. So I was thinking like redcoats, but then I was like, no, I'd rather not. So I think I'd go with a sitting pirate. Yeah, so I put him down, I adjust him so he's sitting there, and then you can see the box. So then what I have to do is I have to make, to cover that, and there's any really scaffolding walls, I should have just done, like, I should have just flipped the scaffolding, like, floor, but I just used this, which actually doesn't look too bad. What I might do next episode is cover the entire of that side in this stuff, just so it looks like it's kind of more of a building than the other side. But it actually looks pretty good. I mean, for the back side, when you see it from above, it's not that good, but from down, it's pretty good. And then there's obviously that little jutty-addy bit, so I had to add a little bit more bracing to make sure it didn't fall over. So I add this bracing. And then I need a way to have that pirate get up there, right? So I have this little ladder here. And what's funny, the first time, I actually had to bring it out, so I don't know if someone's trying to climb it and they accidentally fall, because actually it's above them rather than being in front of them. I don't know. Whatever. Carrying on. I'm trying to move this back because you could actually see it from the main walkway, and then that just I end up not doing it. I end up not doing it because there's not really much space to go back, and I kind of liked it where it was. And so what I decided to do is I just moved the trees around it just to cover it a little bit. You can still see it from the main walkway, but I add some more palm trees. So here's what the interesting thing is. I had to add at this section kind of a little bit of both, like some of the stuff I had in the other section plus pirate, and that was interesting. And also, well, we'll get to that when we get there. But so I had these bushes, and I think I had a couple trees, I believe. I look for trees for a really long time, actually. You'd be surprised. Yeah, I'm still looking. I wanted like a mid, so you can see it from that. I wanted something that could like block it midway. So I end up using these. But here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing. So I make this little rock section right here, and then obviously it's a different type of rock on the other side. So I make the back side of it a different kind of rock. And I just think that's actually pretty cool. I know that many people care about that, but I just like it. I think it's cool. That, shooting type of rocks. And, obviously. Point is, whatever. It's not actually that cool, but I just think it's kind of good touch theming. And then I kind of have to paint the ground. I add a little bit of sand below the buildings, and then I have more like trees on the other side. And then I have a lot of sand going down on these. And then, and then I see which type of pathing I want, because I don't actually like the red. And I go with this flagstone, and I'm like, maybe I should change it, because I kind of like the red. I like the color, because I'm just kind of beige. But I'm like, you know what? I really don't think pirates care much about the colors. And then I wanted to add a little driftwood, and that actually gave me a very good idea. So this is a slope, right? You're walking down, and I'm pretty sure there's some sort of regulation on handrails or whatever. So I was like, it'd be cool if I made a handrail with the driftwood. And this is kind of the first kind of themed practical thing in the park, right? I kind of themed the building around shops, and I themed the ride, but I never actually themed like something like a handrail, which was interesting to me. So what I first did, I put these rocks down periodically just so I could get like the same height on each of these. So basically I'm looking at the rock at an angle, and then I see a slight bit of the pole, and that's where I know where to put the pole. Because obviously I need the poles to be the same height. I actually could have done it the opposite way and done the handrail first and then put the poles on, which would have been better. So then what I try to do is I try to eyeball the angle that needs to go, so it's parallel with the floor. And what I didn't think about for a long time is, well, what if I just put the plank on the floor first and then rotate it, and then obviously I get the perfect thing when I do that, because obviously it'd be flush with the floor because I rotate it on the floor, so then that works. And I do like this, and I make the handrail just extend a little bit, because obviously the handrail doesn't immediately start. And I actually really like the look of this handrail. It looks, I know that's a really kind of a weird thing to say, but it is one of my, other than the bell, which I just find funny, this is one of the better pieces of theming so far. Probably one of my best pieces of theming so far. It's simple, it works, and it's not just kind of like a cluttery mess like I did with the gate. And the gate looks good, but I mean, I could kind of just use the fact that it's ugly to my advantage. But this, it's just two pieces, but I don't know, I just really like it. And then I just copy it to the other side. And that's about it. I don't actually know what I do for the rest of this time, for the next minute and a half. Oh, I delete these rocks that I had. And I think that should be the end of this video. This is all we did today. Obviously, you didn't see me make the big hole, but that wasn't that interesting to begin with. And I think it's a great start. So next episode, we will next episode we're going to work on the theming. Oh, here's just a view of it at nighttime. Next episode, we're going to work on the theming, and I believe the episode after that, we will work on the actual roller coaster, which should be fun. If you have any ideas for the name of the roller coaster, all the information I have, it's pirate themed, it's over water, and it will be a looping coaster, and probably B&M. I don't know how that would sway what you would call it, but there you go. That's the stuff. I'm still messing with this camera, dude. I'm telling you, the camera on PC Planet Coaster is the worst thing about it. Ooh, I got a video coming up about what I would change about Planet Coaster, so that's coming up if you want to subscribe for that. That's about it. Here's a little walkthrough, and yeah, see you guys on the flip side later.